Crazy Chef Productions. Right, today we're back with the Panasonic breadmaker, which I've previously done an unboxing video and done a video making bread. Today we're going to make bread again, but we're going to make what's known as a raisin bread. But I'm not using raisins, I'm using cranberries. Now I've used cranberries, I've used currants, I've used raisins, and I've used a mixture. You need about typically 80 grams of raisins or whatever you do. I'm using a white flour. Now in the UK you probably call it strong white bread flour. I'm doing it in Poland at the moment. I'm using a white wheat flour, but it's type 650. Anything from 550, but don't go below 550 because it may not rise properly. I'm using dried drożdża. I'm using dried yeast. In the UK you'd probably use something like a tin of Alison dry instant yeast, but I'm just using what I can get in Lidl. Okay. I'm also using sugar. That helps activate the yeast. I'm using salt, but be very wary of the quantities. I'm actually following the Panasonic recipe for raisin bread, but I do often do my little own tweaks. Okay, let's get started. Now where's my bread thing? Hold on, where's my bread thing? Okay, we've got the container out of the bread maker. Put that over here. Probably can't think, maybe that's it. Okay, I'm now going to measure out 400 grams. It probably gets all over. It's 400 grams of the flour, the white grade 650 flour, strong bread flour. Let's put the scales on. Okay, 400 grams. It's the same as if you wanted to make ordinary white bread. I also do brown bread, so I've probably done a video on that one, I'm sure. Okay, and now I'm going to go up to 400 grams. Okay, I've got 401, I'm not going to argue with that. Okay, now I'm going to tip that in the bread making bin. Now I'm going to, I'll reset the thing. Now I'm going to add the salt and, not the pepper, the salt and the sugar. We only do one take on our video, so if everything's in the wrong position, it's in the wrong position. Okay, this is a measure which comes with the Panasonic breadmaker. So I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Spread it around, that's better. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Okie dokie. And I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of sugar, white ordinary sugar. So that's 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'll get this somewhere. Okay, now we use 280 millilitres of water, and then you get these measures, so I've just marked it. I've marked it with a pen so I can see it. So I'm using 280 mils of water, but go to the fridge. I need 20 grams of butter. So I've reset the scales. Now I'm going to try to do 20 grams of butter. 17. Now I've got 23, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to chop it down anymore. Okay, I'm now going to spread, just cut it up a little bit. You don't have to. And put it in the thing there. Get rid of that. Get rid of the scale. Okay, so I'm now going to put the contents. So that's the 400 grams flour, 20 grams of butter or thereabouts, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Now I'm going to put that in the machine. Okay, I've got to get my scissors ready for my yeast. I'll try to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, but you won't see me. Okay, right. So it's all in the bread maker. Now I'm going to put the water in. 280 millilitres of ordinary raw tap water. Put the top down. Open the top of the top. Now I'm going to measure out one teaspoon, using a device, 1 teaspoon of instant yeast, dry yeast, whatever you want to call it. Alright, I've done just a little tad more. Don't ever go over 1.5 teaspoons. It just raises it a little bit more. Okay, I'm now going to put some, should be about 80 grams, but I know roughly what it is, so I'm just going to stick the raisins in. There's a tray here which sticks it in. Oh, finished the packet up. No, I won't. Okay, that's that. Don't know what it weighs, but if you're going to do it for first principles, about 80 grams. Or mixed raisins, currants, but I'm using cranberries. Okay, I'm now going to put it on. This is for a medium sized loaf, which is the smallest version on the machine. Now I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to plug it in. It doesn't have an on-off switch at the back, so I'm just going to plug it in. Try to plug it in. Now on the front it defaults as menu 1, but I'm now going to press the menu to make it menu 3. And I'm going to select medium loaf. And I can only get a light or medium crust on this measurement. It won't allow me to do a dark crust, I don't think, no. So it's basically menu 3, medium loaf, medium crust, and it's set for 4 hours. It does take a while to do bread making, but don't worry too much about the expense. It's only the last sort of less than an hour it bakes. It's sort of resting, kneading and rising. That takes most of the time. Now I'm going to press the start button. Wham. Okay, so it's going to take now 4 hours to rest, knead, rise, bake. So I'll let it do its job, and I'll come back to the video when it's time to take the bread out. Okay, we're now back recording and we've got 1 minute to go. So we're doing a raisin bread, but we're using cranberries. We're on a medium loaf, medium crust, and we've got less than a minute to go, and it'll beep when it's finished, and I'll take the bread out. There we go. So it's finished. I'm going to press stop. I'm going to take the plug out, Be very careful to put it by the plug and not the lead, because there's no on-off switch. They're going to open it up. Oh, that's lovely. You can see that's where the currents come out there. Put that there. The yeast comes out of there, currents come out of there. Right, so now we're going to, it's very hot, be careful, always wear oven gloves. Let's take it out, like that. You'll see, if I hold it very carefully, that's my loaf of bread. Now I'm going to tip it up and take it out. It comes out very easily because it's a non-stick pan. So there we are. I'm putting it on a cooling rack. You've got to have some cooling rack so air circulates all the way around it. It's very hot. I'll try to do it without messing it up. Okay. On the cooling rack, there is the cranberry loaf, white bread with cranberry fruit inside. There we are. That's a medium loaf. That's just a cranberry, you can see there, medium loaf. 400 grams of strong white flour, or 550, 650 grade, 20 grams of butter, 1 tablespoonful of sugar, 1.5 tablespoons for salt, 280 millilitres of water, 1 teaspoon of yeast, and about 80 grams of cranberries in this case, but it could either be raisins, currants, whatever you fancy having. There we are. Now let it cool. I'll put a bit of muslin over it just to protect it. But there we are. Crazy chef out.